what
Yeah.
kind of advice can you give authors like yourself when they're really thinking? I know a lot of our listeners are like, I really want to write that book. It seems you started relatively later in life. It was the pandemic.
Yep.
We're all cooped up. You're
Mhm.
loving supernatural. You're feeling inspired. These characters are leaping into your head. They're taking on lives of their own. And then you were off to the races pretty fast. You've got in your library, you've got what, 6, 7 books already? Is that right?
Yeah, I'm about to publish 6, and then book 4 of Matt and Ollie's coming out in the late winter, so February. And I've got
Okay.
3 more that I've got to polish,
Where
and
do
then a
you
sequel to.
Yeah, where do you get your
Yeah,
energy? How do you do it?
I
And
know.
how can you inspire some listeners who are like, I want to do what TH is doing?
So since a lot of this was written, like I was on a roll, I was really on a roll. I've been kind of in a slump. I'm stuck on this one. So what I would just say is, I was very fortunate to have like, I have kids. They were all teenager and up, but my husband kept them. So you got to find a quiet place to write, and you got to find, like, if you've got to write when, I mean, you can't, obviously, like if you're in the middle of you're a surgeon and in the middle of surgery, you're like, I got to write this down. you know
Yeah, yeah, you're
maybe don't do that.
multitasking during the open
Yeah.
heart surgery. Your novel.
Yes. You don't, I mean, but like when something occurs to you and you like, oh my God, that's awesome, you really need to, like, as best you can, write it down. Like, just write when you can. And so, like, when I was initially writing, and I worked full time during the pandemic, we did not have to go into work, and things were shut down at work. But I wasn't even really writing then. I was doing a lot of walking. I would do like 6 miles a day, like you said. You're outside. I'm getting. I was brainstorming ideas about the book. And then I just became kind of a mad scientist. So I would get up really early in the morning, and I would just write on my laptop in bed. I'd, come home from work once work started going back in, and I would just write, like, from dinner until like 11, and really just made it. And now I'm like reading more, because I'm consuming books that I'm like, oh, I keep seeing my TBR is so long, because all my book talk friends, they're like, have you read this book? And I'm like, stop doing this to me. But no, we love it. We do it to each other. It's like, it's great. And I'm stuck on this one scene. So I think, instead of feeling like, oh, I have to do this, like, some writers, I think, are like, write 3,000 words a day or whatever. I just say, write, when you can, when you feel like, just drop everything and write if you're feeling like inspired. Um, and that's the best I can say, really. At least that worked for me. Alex Cross, she's a dynamo. She does the Post-it thing, which I think it's called Gantt. It's like the Gantt, whatever. Anyway, she will be in front of a wall, and there'll be all these Post-its where she's mapped out her stories, like, fully, before she
Yeah,
sits down
yeah.
to write. That
Storyboarded it all out. Some people think that way
Yeah,
and create that way. They need to plan. She's
yeah,
a planner. She's
yeah.
a
So then,
planner.
if that might work that's something that might work for some listeners, to
Right.
really plan it out. I've seen people do it in like an Excel spreadsheet. I'm like, that's too, no. I don't, I don't,
Yeah,
I don't
I
want to.
can't do that. My story just has to float in my head. I
Yeah.
didn't outline anything for my book. It's literally
No,
just
me
kind of
neither.
lives in my head. And the characters do the
Yeah.
writing for me. The characters are like, they're off to the
Yes.
races. Things are happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's also important. Um, I guess what I mean, like, when you're inspired to write it down, and it doesn't matter where in the book. Like, some of my Matt and Ollie books, I wrote like the middle of the book, and then I would go back and build up to it. So, like, if you come up with this scene and you're like, oh my God, that would be, this is a great scene, write the scene, and then you can build the story around it. That's how I work. I can't
I think that's
storyboard per
great
se.
advice. And I think the big takeaway here, it depends on who you are and how you're built.
Yeah.
If you're a planner, plan. If you're spontaneous,
Yes.
be spontaneous. The key takeaway here, though, is it's not going to happen by itself. So make time,
No.
stay
Yeah.
focused, get it done, and
Yeah.
turn it into a lifestyle, which is you can't just sip an espresso in a coffee shop and say, "Oh, I'm a
Right.
writer," and then spend 5
That's
minutes and then move on to something else. You do it. You are what you do. And if you're writing, then you're a writer. And you write the way that's appropriate to who you are, how you're built, what you like, and where it comes naturally.